71 is the permitted sender. So typically, the first IP address that you find from the bottom part of the email header, by eliminating one by one each and every line that does not have an IP address, you can find out the IP address of the sender. So in this case, chances are that the email that I received has been sent from this IP address, that is 176.32.105.71. As simple as that. Please remember, a disclaimer here is that this technique is not 100% accurate, but it is a shortcut technique. Anybody can do this. Within a few minutes, you can find out the IP address of the person who sent that email to you. And once you have the IP address, you can trace an IP address to its location. And later on today, in today's lecture, we'll be discussing how to trace an IP address to its location. But right now, we have just concluded the demonstration of if somebody sends an email to you, if it's an abusive email, you want to find out who sent that email to you. So this is what you need to do to find out the IP address of the sender. Even if it is not an abusive email. Let's assume your friend sent an email to you. You want to find out your friend's IP address because you want to hack into their computer. Even then, this technique that I just demonstrated to you is very useful. Because by just analyzing the email headers, you can find out the IP address of the sender. As simple as that. So you can do this in Gmail, which I just gave a demonstration to you of. At the same time, you can do this in Yahoo as well. Just click on settings and then full header. And if you notice, the full header of the email has been displayed on the screen. I have included a screenshot for all of you. Now this was the manual technique of analyzing an email header. There is an automatic technique as well. And for the automatic technique, you need to download a software called Email Tracker Pro. Email Tracker Pro. Email Tracker Pro is a software that you can download from the internet. It is not free, but you can download the trial version, which allows you to use it for 15 days or so, completely free of cost. And the way this Email Tracker Pro software works is, once you open the email headers, you copy the email headers and you paste the email headers into this particular software. And you press the trace button. And as soon as you press the trace button, this particular software will analyze the email headers for you and find out the IP address of the sender and trace the location of that person and display it on the screen. So if you notice, I have a screenshot which I like to show to all of you. In this screenshot, in the center of the screen, you can see a world map. And in that world map, the exact location of the sender has been identified. So this particular email was sent to me from Bucharest in Romania. Left bottom corner of the screen, the IP address of the person who sent this email to me has been identified. So the IP address is 92.86.139.90. And on the right hand side, it gives me the location as well. So the email started in Bucharest or originated in Bucharest. Then it went to Germany, then Switzerland, and slowly in various cities from Zurich in Switzerland, went to Geneva in Switzerland, and slowly it reached the recipient, that is me in Mumbai. So the email was sent from Bucharest. It traveled through various email servers in Europe, in Germany, in Switzerland, and then it came to India and it reached my system. So not only can you find out the origin of the email, you can find out the path taken by the email to reach you. And on the right hand side column, more information about the sender has been identified. See the IP address that you're seeing on the left bottom corner, that is 92.86.139.90. That IP address normally will belong to a ISP, a service provider, like say Reliance or Airtel or whatever, but in Romania. So on the right hand side column, you can find out what ISP this IP address belongs to. So in this case, if you notice very carefully on the right hand side column, it has identified that this particular IP address belongs to Romanian Telecom local internet registry. Not only that, the exact phone number and fax number of that service provider has also been identified, which in this case is +402 something something, right? So you can actually call up the ISP on that number and say that, oh, we are investigating a crime, we've received an abusive email that was sent from your server, and this is the IP address of the sender. Please tell us the exact identity of the person, the exact name and address of the person who sent that email. So without taking help of the ISP, we cannot get the name and address of the person. And how do you contact the ISP? On the right hand side column, the phone number and fax number have been mentioned. Not only that, if you scroll down further on the right hand side column, the exact physical address, the postal address has also been identified of the ISP. So this is, the ISP's address is City Gate, North Tower, Piata, Presre, Liberec, Sector 3, Bucharest, Romania. So literally if you go to that address, you can actually get in touch with that ISP. And there's a name of the contact person, which is George Nikolai. So all this information you can now hand over to the police in India, and the police in India has to contact the police in Bucharest and ask for their cooperation and help. And the Bucharest or the Romanian police has to contact this ISP and share this IP address with them, and the ISP can then look at their log files or the server records and identify the exact name and address of the person who sent that particular email to you. So that is how you can trace an email back to the sender. So up until now we have discussed two different ways in which you can find out somebody else's IP address. The first technique is you have to send an email to the victim. Either you can send a tracking image or a tracking file in that email. The second technique is the victim has to send an email to you. And you can analyze the email headers, identify the IP address of the sender, and then trace that IP address and find out the ISP, the city, and the country of the person who sent that email to you. Please remember, if the person has sent an email to you from a Gmail account, then only the Google server's IP address will be found in the email headers. So in that case, you need to lodge a police complaint in India. Indian police will contact Google India office, and Google India can reveal the IP address of the sender to the Indian police. And then you can investigate the matter. The third technique in which you can find out somebody else's IP address is by simply sending a link to the victim. You can send a link to the victim using email, using Facebook private messaging, using Twitter, using Facebook wall or Facebook timeline, or using chat. No matter which communication medium you're using, you can send a special link to the victim in such a manner that as soon as the victim clicks on that link, the victim's IP address will be found out and will be sent to you. And this is really good because this link system or this technique that I'm going to show you will work even if the victim has a Gmail account or a Hotmail account. Because Gmail or Hotmail hides the IP address of the victim if you just send a tracking image or a tracking file. But here if you send a tracking link to the victim, then nobody can stop the victim's real IP address from being revealed. So the website address is iplogger.org. iplogger.org. Let me give a demonstration of this technique to all of you. iplogger.org. So I'll just close some websites. This is didtheyreadit.com, then readnotify.com, and then you have iplogger.org. So what does iplogger.org look like, and how does it exactly work? Now imagine that there is some YouTube video that you want to share with your friend, right? Because it's very normal for friends to share YouTube videos with each other. The important thing to remember is that as a criminal, you don't want the victim to become suspicious that you're trying to find out their IP address or something like that, right? So instead of sending them something that will make them suspicious, it is very normal to share some video with your friend. So let us find some YouTube video that we can share with your friend, and as soon as your friend clicks on the link of that YouTube video, their IP address will get revealed. So maybe there is some Arnab Goswami spoof, some funny video, Bollywood Aam Aadmi Party or something like that. So I copy the link of that video, the YouTube link of the video. So let me just stop this video. You don't really want to watch it right now. So you copy the link of any video and you go to iplogger.org. iplogger.org. And in this space provided, where there is a button which says generate short IP logger URL. So next to this button, generate short IP logger URL, you paste the YouTube video URL. So if you notice, I have pasted that Bollywood Aam Aadmi Party funny video. That link has been pasted here, and I click on this button, generate short IP URL, IP logger URL. So if you notice, now it has created a special URL for you. So I can copy this URL. So let me show you this URL in a big notepad file. So this is the URL. It is iplogger.org / something 2ZT33 something, right? Now I will send this URL to my friend. And as soon as my friend clicks on this URL, let us see what happens. So if you look at the screen, it's a blank tab. I click on this link. Let us see what gets displayed. The internet connection is a little bit slow, but if you notice, this Bollywood Aam Aadmi YouTube video starts getting displayed. So the victim thinks that you have sent a particular video to them, but in reality, you have sent them a log tracking link. And now if you want to find out that person, as soon as your friend has clicked on the link, once your friend has clicked on the link, if you want to find out their IP address, you just click on this view log button. And as soon as I click on view log, if you notice, the exact IP address has been displayed. And this is the IP address of the victim, which in this case is me myself, and my IP address has been displayed on the screen. As simple as that. Not only that, you can even find out the exact location of the person who clicked on the link. So I'm currently connected to the internet through the Talent Edge server, which is based out of Delhi, which is why the Delhi location is showing up, even though right now I'm actually in the Bombay office. So by just sending a link to somebody, you can fool that person into clicking on that link, and then you can find out their IP address. Now some of you might be thinking that, oh, my friends are very smart. When they see a link which says iplogger.org, they will not click on the link. You're absolutely correct. So that is why you should not send this link directly to your friend. Instead, you should use any of the short URL websites like goo.gl or bit.ly. So goo.gl or bit.ly are URL shortening websites that will convert this URL into something shorter. So let me open up goo.gl in my browser, and I paste that link over here and click on shorten URL. And if you notice, it has created a short URL like this, which is goo.gl/something. So now if you send this link to your friend will not suspect that something is wrong. Because if you send iplogger.org to your friend, then if your friend is smart, they will not click on it. So let us see what happens when your friend clicks on this link, goo.gl something. So if you notice, the YouTube video, Bollywood Aam Aadmi, starts getting played. Right? So you actually want the victim to think that they're clicking on a link which is taking them to a YouTube video. But in reality, you are tracking the victim's IP address. So if you just refresh, if you notice now it has again recorded the IP address of the person that clicked on the link. So if you notice, it recorded both the IP addresses of the Google server, which is in Mountain View, California, and also my IP address, which is in Delhi. So both the IP addresses were recorded this time because I clicked on the link through the Google server, which is goo.gl. So you were able to find out, the criminal was able to find out the victim's IP. At the same time, the victim does not get suspicious that they're clicking on some hacking website. So that is the beauty of goo.gl and iplogger being used together. Now, iplogger.org is a very interesting website. So if you notice, just to verify that it was indeed my correct IP address, right now also if you notice, iplogger has identified my correct IP address. So the same IP address was getting displayed when I tracked that link, which is 182.1.73 in Delhi. Now, not only can you actually create a short URL to create a tracking link using iplogger, you can also create a tracking photograph. Just press this button which says generate invisible IP logger. So it will allow you to create this secret message or rather secret image, which is basically a tracking image, which you can then copy paste into any kind of email, website or forum, and anybody who opens that email, website, forum, website, web page, whatever, or blog, their IP address will get recorded. So imagine a fourth technique of finding out somebody else's IP address would be that you create a blog or a website, and on your blog or website, you just copy paste this secret image or hidden image, which is a small white colored image that nobody will be able to see. And as soon as they visit your web page, that hidden image will get displayed on their computer. And since that hidden tracking image is getting displayed on their computer, iplogger will record their IP address, which you can then see by just connecting to this iplogger website and clicking on this view log button. As simple as that. So that brings me to the fourth technique of finding out somebody else's IP address, which you can again use iplogger www.whatismyipaddress.org for. And just to demonstrate this, there's a very interesting website which is known as whatismyipaddress.com. So let me open up my browser and connect to whatismyipaddress.com and show you what gets displayed. Now, whenever you use your browser to connect to whatismyipaddress.com, this is what will get displayed on the screen. So if you notice, it has identified my computer's current IP address, which is 182.73.202.140. It has also identified my exact city. So even though I'm connecting via a company headquartered in Delhi, you can actually see that the city Mumbai, Maharashtra is showing up because that is my current location. So, and if you scroll down further, there's a nice looking map that has been displayed where the exact location of that IP address has also been identified in Mumbai. So if this website is able to find out my IP address and my location, as soon as I visit the website, what is stopping you from running the same script that this website is running? You run it on your website, invite your friends to visit your website, and as soon as your friends visit your website, you can find out their IP address. And how do you do that? Using iplogger.org. So iplogger.org allows you to create that hidden tracking image which you can put on the home page of your website, invite all your friends to visit your website, and as soon as they visit your website, secretly in the background, the hidden tracking image will record each and every visitor's IP address. Now, if you look at whatismyipaddress.com, not only does it tell you your own IP address, it also has a couple of other additional tools. First of all, there is something known as IP lookup. So if I click on IP lookup, it allows you to find out the exact location of any IP address. So if you notice, I have typed in an IP address in this space provided, and I click on look up IP address button. And within a few seconds, it has identified a lot of information about this IP address. And if you remember, this is my computer's current IP address. So it has identified, obviously, it knows the decimal IP. It has converted that into the host name, which in this case is the same IP itself. The ISP is Bharti Airtel. And the type of connection is wireless broadband. And the country is India, state is Maharashtra, city is Mumbai. And the exact map of that IP address has also been displayed. So similarly, instead of this IP, you could type some other IP as well. So I'm just going to type some random IP address. Basically, you can just practice any kind of IP address, type it into this particular software, and it will try to find out the exact location of that IP address. So that is a lookup software for you. Practice it, play around with it. It's a lot of fun. There's another interesting software in whatismyipaddress.com which says trace email software. So it allows you to find out the email address, the source of an email that you have received. So all you have to do is copy the email headers of an email that you have received and paste them into this particular field, and then click on get source. So let us actually try this out. I copy this email header into this particular field, and I click on get source. Let's see whether it's able to get me the source of the email. So if you notice, it's kind of identified the source. The email was sent from this Amazon email server, and the source IP address is the following. And it has traced the